Hi guys, this is Ashok Reddy. Last class we discussed non-static members and their control flow. Okay, can we revise now? Yeah. Here four types of non-static members is there. One is non-static variable. Second one is non-static block. Third one is non-static method, and fourth one is constructor. Okay. Here four types of non-static members is there. We discussed yesterday. What is non-static variable? The class level variable. Class level variable, what is this? X comma y is a class level. The class level variable doesn't have static keyword is called non-static variable. If we declare in class level variable, if we declare variable as static, that is static variable. Okay. If you are not declare, if you not declare variable as static, that is non-static variable. Okay. Here non-static block. What is the non-static block? Non-static block, the class level block which doesn't have prototype. Which doesn't have prototype. What is the prototype? Here is the public void displays the prototype. Okay, this is the prototype. There is no prototype. The class level block which doesn't have prototype. Okay, it doesn't have any prototype. That is called non-static block. Okay, that is non-static block. Okay, here there is no prototype, correct? Na? Here there is no prototype, so that is called non-static. This is called non-static block. Okay, then third one is non-static method. What is the non-static method? The method which doesn't have static keyword in it, prototype. Okay, this is the prototype. Public void displays the prototype. Okay, in the prototype, this is the access modifier, this is the return type, this is the method name. Okay, here there is no modifier who doesn't have static keyword, right? If it doesn't have modifier, doesn't have static keyword, that is static method. Okay, so declare modifier as static, that is static method. Okay, then constructor. What is the constructor? Constructor is nothing but class name. What is the class name here? Example of NSN. Example of NSN. Example of class name and method name is same. Class name and method name is same. And also there is no return type. Okay, there is no return type. Class name. What is this? Class name should be same as method name and also doesn't have any return type. That is called constructor. Okay, that is called constructor. Okay, what is the use of non-static variable? What is the use of non-static variable? Variable is used to only store only one value at a time. Okay, if you are trying to modify, you can replace old value. Okay, but what is the difference between static variable, non-static variable? Static variable. Okay. Static variable. What will happen? Static variable while loading the class in JVM, that time you can allocate the default value and initialize the variable. Okay. But here non-static variable while creating the object, that time you can allocate the default value of non-static variable. When it is going to initialize while initializing the object, that time you can initialize the non-static variable. Okay, what is happen? Once again, non-static variable whenever creating the object, whenever creating object mean executing the new keyword, that time you can allocate the default value. Okay, when it is going to initialize the non-static variable while initializing the object, that time initialize the non-static variable and non-static block execution. Non-static block going to execute in the order. Okay, then what is the use of non-static block and non-static method? Non-static block used for non-static block used for and non-static method both are going to execute our own logic. Okay, but what is the difference both non-static block and non-static method? Non-static block while initializing the object, that time it is going to execute our logic non-static block. Okay, but when it is going to execute non-static method, once 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 object creation is done, then we can call whenever we are going to call whenever we are going to call non-static method, that time only it is going to execute it. If you are not going to call non-static method, then it is not going to execute it. Okay, that is the difference. What is the constructor? Constructor is used for initializing the object. It is very important. What is the use of constructor? It is used for initializing the object. Okay, then next. Today we will discuss non-static members execution flow with JVM architecture with example. Okay, then already I have I have example, right? Yesterday we discussed this one, correct? Na? Then here we have four types of in object creation. We have four types of four steps is there. What is the four types? Just see. In object creation, we have four steps is there. Right? One is a reference variable declaration, class initialization, object initialization. Fourth one is the reference object create reference object. Okay, just see. Okay, okay. Here four types is there. One is the reference variable declaration, and second one is the class instantiation. Third one is object initialization. Fourth one is object returning object reference. Okay, here four types. First, we will discuss a reference variable declaration. First, we will discuss reference variable declaration. Whenever whenever class is loaded into JVM, whenever class is loaded into JVM, first control comes to the main method. Okay, it is going to execute it line number 20. Once control comes to the line number 22, first it will create the non-static variable memory. It will create the non-static variable memory. What is the non-static? Where this is the non-static variable reference. NSM is the non-static variable reference. It will allocate the, what is this? Control comes to the main method. It will create the reference variable memory creation. Okay, then how it will create the reference variable memory? This is the first one. Just 1 minute. This is the first step. Okay, it will create the, 1 minute guys. Yeah, it will create the reference variable memory creation. First step is the reference variable memory creation. This is the done. What is the second step? What is the second step? Class instantiation. Class instantiation is nothing but object creation. You guys can keep in your class instantiation, nothing but object creation. Class instantiation, nothing but object creation. Okay, just you guys can keep object creation. Class instantiation, nothing but object creation. Okay, then what will happen when What is the second step? This is the object creation, right? Just see. This is the object creation. What is the object creation? Example of NSM. Example of NSM is a object creation. Second step is the object creation. Okay. Then what is the second step? When we create an object, okay, JVM allocate memory to all non-static variable memory with default value from top to bottom. Already I told you, whenever new keyword execution is completed mean object creation is done. What is the object creation? This is the object creation. What will happen whenever creating object creation? Allocating the default value of non-static variable. Just you guys can keep in your mind. Okay, then new keyword going to execute mean allocating the non-static variable memory with default value. That is the second step. What is the third step? Third one is the object initialization. Third one is the object initialization. What is the object initialization? When an object initialization control comes to the constructor. Whenever object creation is done, object installation is nothing but control comes to the constructor. Control comes to the constructor. Here, first statement is super keyword is there, right? Already I told you. Just go back. Here, control comes to the constructor. Once installation is done, while initializing the object, control comes to the constructor. Here, first statement, what is there? First statement is super keyword is there, right? Super keyword, what is the use of super keyword? Super keyword, it will call to the non super class. So what is the super class? Object class. Object class, it will call to the super class of non super class of constructor. Okay, it will super keyword, it will call to the super class of constructor. Okay, in this constructor, in superclass constructor, there is no logic. Okay, superclass constructor, there is no logic. Okay, na? Superclass constructor, there is no logic. Once there is no logic, then it control come back to the current object. What is the current object? Example of NSM. Control come back to the non-static. Control back to the current object class. Okay, once control come back to the current object, then it will initialize the non-static variable and also executing the non-static block. Okay, one static block. Okay, then control back to the constructor. This first statement is completed. First then second. Once control back to the constructor, it will execute the constructor logic. Once construct logic execution is completed, mean what will happen? Once construct logic execution is completed, mean object initialization is completed. Object initialization is completed. Once just see note, what is the note? Constructor execution is completed, mean object initialization is completed. Okay, object initialization is completed. What is that? Can we revise now? Object initialization. In a object initialization, control comes to the constructor. Here first statement is super keyword. It is super keyword, it will call to the super class constructor of java.lang.object. Here there is no logic in constructor. Okay, then control back to the current object class. After that what will happen? Non-static variable initialization and non-static block execution is completed. Okay, then in the order they are defined from top to bottom. Okay, what control back to the constructor, then execution of constructor logic. Constructor execution is completed mean object initialization is completed. Okay, then next, what is this? Object initialization is completed. This is the third step. What is the object initialization here? What is the x comma y? X comma y, while initializing the object, what will happen? Initializing the non-static variable. This is the 10 and y value is 20. While executing the, while initializing non-static where, while initializing the object, it is going to, while object initialization, non-static variable initialization is completed and non-static block execution is completed. Then control back to the constructor, then construct logic is executed. Then that is the third step. Okay. What is the fourth step? Returning object reference. Okay. Returning object reference. What will happen after construct logic execution is completed? Then object initialization is completed. After construct logic execution, then new keyword it will return to the new keyword it will return with new object reference. New object reference. What is the new object reference? 20, 20, 20, 20. Okay. Then once return new keyword it will return to the new object reference. This it will stored in reference variable. It will stored in reference variable. What is the reference variable? NSM is a reference variable. What is the what it will store? 20, 20, 20. Okay. Then like that. Okay. After reference variable pointing to, after that, once stored in reference variable, then it will address it will stored in reference variable. Then it will return this. After that, reference variable pointing to the object. That is the reference variable. Reference variable pointing to the object. This is the object. Okay. This is the then what is happen? Fourth step, fifth step. What is this? Is the fifth step. Okay. Just keep in your mind. This is the fifth one. Guys, this is the third one. This is the third one. Then this is the fourth one. Okay. This is 2.1. Okay. This is default variable. What is the initialization here? 10, 10. Y value is 20. Okay. Just can say Y. Then wait. Here is the fifth step. This is the fifth step. 1 minute. I don't want to write here. This is the fifth step. Okay. What is the fifth step? It will call to the non-static method. Okay. It will call to the non-static method. It will call to the non-static method. If you are not calling non-static method, it's not going to execute a non-static method. Okay. This is the fifth step. Once non-static method execution is completed, it will destroy the stack frame. Okay. It will destroy the stack frame. What is this one? I forgot to tell. This is the method area. See the method area. See the method area. This is the heap area. This is the heap area. And this is the Java stack area. Java stack area. Okay, this is the three step. One is the method area, one is the heap area, Java stack area. What is the heap area? heap area, it is create the object. Object is created in heap area. That main thread is going to execute in Java stack area. Java stack. This is the whenever going to execute whenever going to execute a method, that stack frames are going to create. Once method is execution is completed, then stack frames are destroyed. Okay, this is the flow. Can we revise now? Yeah. First, we'll see example. This is the example, control one. Yeah. Then control two. Correct now? First step is once what will happen here? Main method is one control comes to the main method is going to execute it. What will happen while first step is allocating the reference variable memory. While executing the new keyword, it will allocate the default value of non-static variable. Okay, while executing the constructor, while initializing the object, that time initializing the non-static variable, one non-static variable is 10 comma 20. Once non-static variable, while initializing the object, executing non-static variable and non-static block execution is completed. Once executed non-static execution completed, then control comes to the constructor. Okay, constructor, what will happen? It is going to execute a constructor logic. Once constructor logic execution is completed, control back to the here. Okay, then new keyword, it will return to the new keyword returning new keyword with okay, a reference object. It will stored in where it will store reference variable. It will stored in this one. Okay, what is that? Reference variable, what is that? 20 comma 20. Finally, reference variable stored in 20 comma 20. Okay, this one is what is that? After constructor execution is completed, then new keyword will return to the new object reference. Or new object reference, it is stored in a reference variable. After that, reference variable pointing to the object. After that, reference variable pointing to the this object. Okay, then I am going to small modification I have to do. I have to close this one. What I am doing now I don't want to initialize. I don't want to initialize. Okay. Control S. Then what will happen? Now just copy this one. Again, can save it. This is the block one. This is the non-static block 2. Okay. Here I am going to initialize inside the non-static block x equal 20 and x equal 40. Okay, then you can see difference. Okay. Inside method only you can write the logic. Okay. Outside of the method you don't write, otherwise you will get the compile time error. Okay. Then control 1. Yeah. Now compilation is done. Control 2. Just see what will happen. Now 1 minute, guys. What I have to write. Here I'm writing /n. Then only you guys can see difference. Okay. /n. /n. Here also, what is the default constructor? /n. Okay. That is new line. /n mean new line. Control 1. Just it is closed. Control 1. Control 2. Just see now difference. Once control comes to the main method, then while execute a new method, it will allocate the default value. Okay, while executing the new keyword, it will allocate the default value. Okay, 0, 0. Once while initializing the object, it will while initialize the object, then initializing the non-static variable and non-static method in the whatever they are defined in the top to bottom. Okay, once it non-static block execution is completed, then initialization is done, then it is going to execute it. Okay, after that what will happen? Default constructor is executed. Default constructor executed, then you can call the non-static method. It will execute a non-static method. Okay, this is the flow. Just you guys can keep in your mind. Here 4 steps is there. Finally, I am going to explain a short, just where once create the object, allocate the default value of non-static variable. Then second one, while initializing the object, initialize the non-static variable, initialize the non-static variable, and executing the non-static block. Executing the non-static variable initialization and non-static block execution is completed. Okay, once comes to this is the, you guys can keep in your mind. Okay, once this is done, initialization, non-static initialization, non-static block execution completed. Okay, then control come to the constructor logic execution, that is the object initialization completed. Okay, these guys can keep in your mind. Okay, yeah, thank you guys.